But even though they have to pay Google to help surface and maintain their own server, it is still less expensive than having to maintain Exchange and some
Doesn't
other.
that kind of concentrate though?
The attacks?
If everybody starts using Google, yeah, then all of the attackers start attacking Google.
Yes,
and
it does.
Makes it more vulnerable.
Well, I'll address that question later. Okay, go ahead.
Even from a sales perspective, more virtualize, have people not having to install this stuff on their machine.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring down the cost of computers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
increase efficiency, because people aren't going to be having to run multiple applications on their physical machine.
Yep.
It's going to increase efficiency and bring down costs.
Yep, because they don't need as much hardware on their computers anymore. The Chromebook is an example of that. Okay, there was another hand. Yep, go ahead.
Also, how about the privacy issue?
Privacy issue? Now that's a good one, because now just like with the federal government, I'm pretty sure they have a big huge policy on privacy and data security and all the other related things. So what happens is you can so in the case where privacy and security is important, you can still run the cloud application, but only on your own hardware instead of on the hardware owned by Google. So that way, the encryption will still be encrypting the data and storing all the encrypted data at your location. It is still your server. Now, you have to pay someone to maintain your server in that case if you want to own the servers. Okay, but in terms of maintaining the software, it's still Google maintaining the software. Now, since Google does not have the security certificate, or the private key, so Google cannot look into the documents. Okay, but they can still perform the maintenance part. So this way you have the privacy, but you have to pay for the maintenance of your own hardware, but you still don't have to maintain the software itself. Okay, let's go back to the security question, because I think that's a very good question. Now, if we concentrate everything, all the application to a single point, then that makes that single point, really, a focal point of all the potential attacks. So the question now is, how difficult is it to attack, a cloud application running inside a data center, as opposed to attacking a end user's machine that is in an office? Okay, that is the question, right? Because instead of attacking a device like this or a computer like this, what if the hackers have to hack into the Google machine? What do you think? What is the relative security of this box running Windows versus the operating systems that Google is running on their cloud servers?
I think there's two things to consider on that. One, you can hack into a personal computer a lot easier, so getting your information, your personal information, is a lot easier. So in that way, Google's safer. But if you could get into Google, then you could get everything.
That is correct. Now, but if you can get into my computer, you can use my computer as a launch point to hack into other computers on the same, at least on the same local area network, if not more than that.
Well, that's a lot more work than getting everything all at once.
They have been doing stuff like that. A lot of times, the compromise to a really important server starts with a computer that is not considered important, and then the hacker will just find its way through the network to go from a computer that is only used by the receptionist, maybe, to the computer that is used by someone who's inside the organization. And then from there, they can have access to the database server, and then from the database server, they have everything.
So it's still just getting to the database server, isn't it?
Sorry?
Still just getting to the database server either way.
But there may not be a direct path to the database server itself. Yeah. So I think it still makes sense to make the defense perimeter smaller instead of making it so widespread. Because when you make it widespread, then you have to consider all different versions of Windows, all different versions of Internet Explorer, all the other things that can be different. Okay, but if everything is concentrated with one single place, then it has a much smaller defense perimeter. Even though the attack is going to come in more frequently and there'll be more people, more attempts to attack it, it is still a smaller perimeter to defend. I think we learned from the Spartans that having a small perimeter to defend is very important.
Yeah.
What was that movie?
300.
300, exactly.
True
Yep.
story.
The security in case of, any attack, has to be on the IP address? No?
Ask the question again, sorry.
I mean,
I heard, security and IP address, but I
yeah.
did not hear what.
When you're talking about cloud security, privacy,
Mm-hmm.
it means that the IP address of the cloud is more secure than any other.
No, the IP address is nothing more than a phone number. Okay, it identifies a particular network interface card, and that's all there is to it, to an IP address. So when we talk about security, we are talking about a service, your data, your information, and stuff like that, and we're asking the question: can someone unauthorized, can that person gain unauthorized access to your information? If it is possible, how hard is it to do it? How many things do they have to go through to get to your data in an unauthorized way? A lot of times, the human element is actually the weakest link. More than anything else, it's the human element that is the weakest link. Giving money to someone and saying, well, what's your password, or something like that. It's far easier than spending the same amount of money on hackers to try to convince someone to hack into a system. So we are kind of running out of time. So today I'm going to let you guys out a little bit early. So next time we will continue. Next Tuesday we'll continue with the additional topic of this particular section. So I want you guys to read ahead of me so that you know what I'll be talking about next time.